All right, folks, getting ready to start off the day best way we know how, our New York Times daily puzzles and games. I'm going to start off as usual tackling the Wordle, then we'll move on to connections, the mini crossword, and the full-on crossword. So early in the week, I'm optimistic about how we can do. Yesterday on Monday's crossword, which is the easiest of the week, finished it in about 10 minutes, 10 or 12 minutes. So take that as a good omen that today we can hopefully, aiming for under 30 minutes on average throughout the week. So hopefully we can keep that average low. Wordle. Start off with an oldie but a goodie. Stale. Okay, no letters from stale. For cases like this, kind of have a second word that I often will use to try and pull in, a few other vowels that are very common, and also some common consonants. Let's see if this does anything. Okay, that was really, really good draw for our second word. And just looking at this, the fact that it starts with a G, I mean, that's an obvious one. Let's try and think of less obvious words that could potentially fit. I mean, really with those particular vowels, I have to imagine, and what we have so far, man, I really do think it may just end up being going. Yeah. Hell yeah. Nice. Getting it in three. Kind of continue our streak of averaging 3 guesses for most of these Wordle challenges. Now change up the brain a little bit in terms of what we're seeking to do here, and let's try and make some connections. Okay. So again, with connections, the groups of 4 scale up in terms of difficulty. So typically there is one group of 4 at least that is relatively straightforward to group if you're able to kind of parse through each of these. Probably not the easiest one, and one isn't really jumping off the page at me in terms of, hey, this grouping is definitely obvious. But one thing I am noticing, I see Jeopardy, I see Standard, I see Dribble. You could potentially connect. They're 3 kind of disparate words, don't have a connection just at their face or on the face value. But if you add a word beforehand like double, so double Jeopardy, double Standard, double Dribble, and really it would just be trying to find double agent, probably like a someone who crosses over and is playing both sides so that they always come out on top. But yeah, I think double is going to be the connection between these 4 words. Heck yeah. Oh wow, it's always fun too. So purple represents the highest difficulty grouping. So by whatever stroke of luck, it looks like we got the hardest connection first. Let's see if we can parse out some of these more obvious ones. So face, fingerprint, pin, those would be like all means of entering in like a passcode or something. Password also fits right into that same vein. Yeah, looking at these, I think that's right, and I think I see the direction we'll go on our next one as well. So focus, concentration, specialty, field. So whether it's in an industry you're working in or like in college, for us we had concentrations as opposed to like your typical majors. So yeah, just an area of expertise, or a general descriptor for those sorts of things. Oh yeah. Ear, elbow, ribbon, wheel. I like to puzzle out the connection just to pretend like it isn't already narrowed down for us. I mean, initially my head went maybe like sorts of noodles. I don't know about ear-shaped noodles, but I know like elbow macaroni, potentially some sort is a wheel or a ribbon shape. Let's see what the connection is. Okay, so it is pasta shapes. Really, I'm trying to think of when I've ever seen ear-shaped macaroni or pasta. Probably would avoid it if I saw it. But, as usual, moving on to the mini, timing becomes more of a concern, but see what we can do with it. And they love to talk about Captain Underpants in some of these. Person who prefers to keep to themselves, a loner, boiling with rage. Lab. Bulge. On the verge of tears. Wry. Angry. Tea. Donut Pilkey. I have to imagine that's some sort of like a pseudonym. Or an alias. If not, that's a heck of a name. Yeah, a little over a minute, not terrible. Try and stay about a minute or under if I can manage, but right around a minute is not too shabby. And now for today's crossword. Auctioneer's mallet, I believe, is a gavel, kind of similar to a judge. Faucet, fault, a leaky faucet, faucet leak. Something dipped in a party dip, chip, would make sense. Keep hope alive, I would think. Saga sage since 1980. As a something from like pop culture or literary work. Saga sage. Head over heels. Be like love in some way, shape, or form, or it could mean physically like falling. Fall head over heels. I could see fall being the answer there. And with what we have, tighten until click. Okay, Vivica. I can only skip that one. Steady. So like even maybe? Things that are even tend to be steady. Stop holding on. Let go. Hugh Granter. Obviously playing off of Hugh Grant, the actor. Hugh Granter, so something that grants something its color. Because spelled that way, H-U-E, referring to color. Okay. I think faucet fault as opposed to leak. I'm leaning towards drip. That would allow us to go die for the Hugh Granter. And counterparts of cones in your eye, the thing that lets you discern colors and like shades of black and white would be rods and cones. So I think rods is the answer there. ID is required when sending a letter there. Thinking like IRS, but I'm not entirely sure. Saga Sage. Okay. Yoda, classic. Shelling out, I'm thinking like paying up. Guess it could just be paying. Let's see. Movie making tech. CGI, computer generated images. Head over heels, it could be like gaga, like going gaga over someone. Content that causes sick. I am such a victim of this. I feel secondhand embarrassment so strongly when I'm watching videos or anything embarrassing happening in real life. Walking Dead channel is AMC. Helpful ads in brief. PSAs, public service announcements. Set to go off alarms. That makes me feel great about our previous answers that slides right in. Tighten until click. So gas cap. Find a way to avert disasters, save the day. Made a safe bet, hedge. And it's made, so past tense, hedged. So learned about in, I think it was an options and futures class that I took in college. How you can, if you make an investment using, calls, puts, things like that, there are kind of mathematical ways to figure out how to hedge your bet. So really interesting stuff. Out of the ordinary, oddball. Cry of frustration with a G. Is that like a gasp? But 3 letters, obviously not exactly what we're looking for. Thin wedge. I know wedges sometimes refer to like female shoes. If it's a specific type of that, I might need to fill in a few more letters because someone challenged you to. Yeah. I think for now we will kind of go through some of the other ones. Brittany Griner, Simone Biles. Gosh, I much prefer athletes, musicians over authors, novelists, those sorts of things. Having multiple levels, tiered. Watching a lot of Great British Baking show recently. I think they recently did a tiered cake episode, or that was their showstopper. Yeah, cat dinner. Get excited, cats. But they did a tiered kind of 70s style cake. That was really, really fun episode. Game of Throws would be darts. Some band recordings, demos. You'd produce a demo before you produce a full-on album or EP. Thing to ring, I would think like a rag. Probably something along those lines. Gratis, I believe, just means free. Key that's missing an ape. Mini golf, maybe? 4 letters. Biblical garden, Eden. Informally. Okay, so this might actually be the EPs that we mentioned earlier. Extended plays, I believe, is what that is. Just shorter than an album, but usually like, I don't know, three or 4 songs. Phoenix franchise. Phoenix Suns, the NBA team. Type of earring would be... Might come back to that. Neutral color. You can see it being beige. Pretty common one. Long sandwich would be like a submarine sandwich. Panini? No. It's another type of long sandwich. A hoagie? Half of a rhyming synonym of haphazard. Half of a rhyming synonym of haphazard. That is a very confusing clue. I don't think we've looked at many of these ones. Carlos Santana. For some reason, I want to put Octavia here. Octavia Butler. Something about that just sounds familiar. I don't know if it's sci-fi or fantasy, but that sounds really familiar to me. Okay. So the letters that are revealed here, C-O, blank space, F. I think, now that I'm looking at it, I think M and Mini may be incorrect, but expressed contempt, I would say, based on what we have, would be scoffed. And that would change our answer here, but I do feel more confident about ending in a D. Considering expressed past tense, or answer here is going to be past tense as well. Admirer. 3 letters. Not sure. Shall we? Richardson. Shikari Richardson. Law firm leaders would be a partner. Usually law firms are set up as partnerships. Gets it wrong, heirs. Oh my gosh. I don't know how I missed this one. I'm a huge disc golf fan. Where I live actually has a lot of really awesome courses, so. Key that's missing in ape. Esque ape. Like the escape key. It's a clever one. What's 17 and 38 across combined to form? 17, save the day. I assume this has to be an H here. T blank each, and T blank E. And I think it's going to be similar, like save the day, blank the something. He, him. Be common. Thing to ring would be a mop. Makes sense to me. You got it? No prob. Grads to be abbreviated would be seniors. Overlooks disrespectfully. Save the day, spend the night. Like spend the night over at someone's house. Head over heels, in love. Portions equal to roughly 17%. I believe it would be 6. CFO or CT? Executives. C-suites, so chief financial officer, chief technical officer. Those are executives in a like a large-scale corporation or organization. Quintet found in a super vocalic word. So I assume that's all the containing all the vowels. A-E-I-O-U. Type of earring, hoop. Stop being ridiculous. Come on. Time. Thinking like time budget or time badges. We'll play around with these. Olay. Low tie score, 1-all. Overlooks disrespectfully would be snubs. So yeah, I think this is time budget. Express contempt, sneer. Kind of similarly to expressed contempt over here. Yeah, literally just, I guess, the exact same clue, but present tense as opposed to past. Half of a rhyming synonym of haphazard, so helter skelter. The Beatles song. Claim, allege. First name in civil rights history. Oh, man. I mean, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King. Might come back to that one. Okay, ID is required when sending a letter there. ID as in when you're filling out the address, you would have to put ID as the state if you were sending something to Idaho. I think that's right. Mournful songs, dirges. So Shah is the common surname in Pakistan. Get ready to compete, like stretch, warm up. Come back to that. Houndstooth or herringbone? Houndstooth, I'm pretty sure, is like a design for that you see pretty often on purses and like some clothing. Rosh Hashanah is a Jewish holiday. I have no idea. Hashanah. Go with that for now. I'm fairly certain that's the right word they're looking for. I'm just not entirely certain on the spelling. Who blank? Who is it? Head over heels. Sweltering hot. Get ready to compete, train. I was thinking like directly before the competition, but obviously leading up to any competition, you'd be training. First name in civil rights history, Martin. So Dr. Martin Luther King was correct. On a... Because someone challenged you to. On a dare. Pattern. Okay, I was right about them being like design patterns. Oh boy, oh boy. Don't bother with that. over heels. Hashanah, it could be an A here. We're so close to finishing, and I feel pretty good about a lot of our other answers. Don't bother with that. I think it's ignore it. I think this should have been who isn't, not who is it. Nice. All right, 24 minutes on the Tuesday crossword. I say this all the time, but I'm pretty happy. Pretty easy going, guys. So even if we don't meet our target, I'm pretty happy. But yeah, we stayed under 30 minutes. Pretty straightforward. Didn't really get hung up too badly. So yeah, I feel really good about that one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed spending some time checking out today's New York Times games. And yeah, I'll be seeing you soon. I will be heading off to eat some lunch, and then coming back with some more Slay the Spire like I have in previous days. So hang tight, stick around. Yeah, and hopefully you'll enjoy the upcoming games. Thanks. Bye.